So we're today in East Point. We're on Beaconsfield, approximately between 8 and 9 Mile Road. And the reason that we're here is because this is a very, very important, critical project for us in Macomb County for our water, for our clean water in Lake St. Clair. It's an environmental project. And essentially what we're doing is we want to be able to use the sewer interceptor that runs from East Point down to our pump station by Chapaton, we call it, 9 Mile and Jefferson area. It's not being used as much as it could be. We found that out by testing it. And so what we're going to be doing actually, we're trying to reduce, eventually eliminate, but certainly trying to reduce, with all these various projects that we're doing, the combined sewer overflows, CSOs as we call them, that unfortunately after a heavy rain event we have to discharge out into Lake St. Clair. And it's been going on for decades. And we are permitted, we do have a permit from the State Environmental Department to do what we're doing, but we don't want to do it. And so we really want to make sure we're trying to do everything we can to reduce these and eventually eliminate these CSOs. So what is happening here is something we call an in-system storage project. And we're eventually going to install at two different strategic locations in the interceptor, sort of a rubber weir or a rubber bladder, if you will, during a heavy rain event, we're actually going to be able to inflate this bladder so we hold the flow back until the rain event passes, and then we are able to safely transmit all of the flow down to Detroit for proper treatment, rather than having to discharge the combined sewer overflows out into Lake St. Clair. So we're very excited about this project, but it's a very expensive project and it's dangerous work. And what you're seeing here today is sort of interesting. So what they first have to do, obviously we have to get down to the interceptor, which is at about 40 foot under the ground here. So in order to do that, we will be building a very large hole, okay, a shaft as we call it. It'll be 50 by 70, 50 foot by 70 foot, a big rectangular hole down into the ground. Well, as you know, when you start digging, the further you go in the ground, there's tremendous pressures there. So we have to we're going to be putting in at 46 different areas, these big caissons, okay? So first they have to drill a hole, then they put a caisson, what they call a caisson, in the hole. Then we will put a 55-foot long steel I-beam down into the hole. Then we will fill the hole with concrete. We're going to do that 46 different times around the perimeter of this rectangular shaft that we're building. And the reason you do that, of course, is to really stabilize the ground. We don't want to send any people, any of our workers, or our equipment down into this shaft until we're absolutely certain that it's secure and that it's safe. Anyway, it's very interesting work, and I wanted to show you here as we begin this project. This is the beginning of this. Now, during the course of this project, which will be about another year probably until it's completed, really, I'll come back with some other update videos. But right now I wanted to show you the kind of work that we're doing here. So I'm standing here with Lexi, who is our concrete specialist. And I say that because what she's actually doing is testing our concrete. And she's going to be doing this every day during this project. I told you about how the caissons are put in the ground after they drill the hole, and then they put the big 55-foot steel I-beam down, and then they pour the concrete down. Well, we got to make sure this concrete is the right consistency and that it meets all of our standards. So what Lexi does is she takes these different test tubes here and she's testing the mix to make sure that, as I say, it meets all of our standards, that it's not too dry, that it's not too wet, that there's not too much air in it. Yep. What else?
And these cylinder molds will cure over time, and they have break dates, usually 7 and 28. Okay. So you need to meet break strength design by 28 days, and that's what we're looking for.
Okay. And you know, in Macomb County, we are absolutely all on the same team. We're all committed to clean water, because out in the lake, our beautiful lake, not only do we swim out there, or you might fish out there, it's also the source of our drinking water. It's our drinking water supply. And so we are very committed to reducing and eliminating these CSOs. And I'm hoping that our neighbors in Oakland County will watch this video and think about maybe they could do some things as well, because they discharge about 5 times what we do. And when you go down into Wayne County, the numbers are off the charts, okay? However, I'm not pointing a finger at anybody else until we get our own house in order here. Is we do not have clean hands in Macomb County. We've been doing it for decades, but we are not going to keep doing it. There's only several communities now where we have these combined sewer overflows. No surprise, it's in the older communities, so in the southern part of our county, where, you know, these are very, very old systems. They're old, antiquated, undersized, underground systems that need some upgrades, and we've been trying to do this, and at the same time to try to eliminate these CSOs. So it's a great project. It's all about clean water, and clean water equals quality of life. I think we would all certainly agree with that. And one other thing I will tell you, I told you this is very expensive work. We've been pretty successful so far in getting some money to help us. So I've been out begging some cash here, and we've got some funding from the federal government, the state government, and also the county government here. So with all these different funds we're commingling together, we don't have any expectation that there will be a rate increase for the ratepayers who are on this particular system. We think we're going to be able to pay for it all without having to raise anybody's rates. So obviously that is a very good thing as well. So it's all good. Good for the environment, good for the water, good for the ratepayers, and most importantly, it's really good for the next generation. And that's what we're trying to do.